magnesium, ad ohenium, magnum opus. Oh, hey everybody, how are you? I wasn't doing anything specific. Oh, April leads of the month. That's why you're here, right? Yeah, no, yeah, let's forget that ever happened. 4 books. That's all I read this month. I know. I pride myself on being a book channel, and then what? I read 4 books? Yeah. So, anyway. I guess I can also count February's, but I just read Whatever Happens. So I don't think that counts. Alright, starting off at the beginning of the month, on April 1st, I read You and Me at the End of the World by Brianna Bourne. The summary of this is basically Hannah and Leo are the last 2 people on the earth, and they start a romance, and then some freaky things happen, and one plot twist later, and Marley was sobbing in the middle of the night instead of going to sleep. So this got a 4.5. It actually did have a 5 stars, and then I took it off because this book wrecked me. And the plot twist was kind of not satisfying. And also, the end of the world stuff is just kind of, as a whole, a hard genre to write in because it's almost not relatable, because people are talking about isolation, and you can't feel like they get you for being lonely because we still have a world. So I gave this a 4.5, and I would absolutely recommend it for romance girlies who can't do fiction but still want romance. This had crazy tension, crazy longing, but then I felt like whenever they actually did get together, it was kind of low-key. Maybe it was because I was reading it in the middle of the night and I was sleep deprived, but I almost had to go back and reread The Kiss to actually remember it. And then there was this one line whenever they kiss that I was actually kind of disturbed by. So, yeah. He's just like, they kiss, and then he's like, you're really good at that. .5. I guess I'll just put it back on the shelf, actually, because that's where it goes. Okay, then I read When I Wish Guys Were Smiling by Suzanne Suplee. As you can tell by the outside, this is a self-published book, and normally self-published books can either land in they're good, and they're self-published because of whatever reason, or they're bad, and that's why they're self-published. This lands in the bad. It's got a 4.5. My mom also read this and said that the 4.5 was gracious, but I really don't like to be rude. The only other book that's gotten lower than that was Meet Me in the Middle. Beg, Borrow, Steal also got a 4.5. Okay, see, now I feel like I need to give Beg, Borrow, Steal a 4. Because this got a 3.5. This is basically about a girl that goes to Ireland to escape her pregnant stepmother. And she finds a found family. She decides that she loves Ireland, and she meets a boy. And then it ends with her confusing ending. They actually end while she's still in Ireland, and she hasn't gone back home yet. But she does decide that she's going to, like, change her life when she gets home, but we don't get any word on what happens to the boy. So this is Insta Love, which if you know anything, if you know the book community, Insta Love is mostly frowned upon because it's kind of hard to believe that you meet someone and you fall in love with them immediately, at least to the point that they did. They didn't have any moments, I felt, that led up to deserving them to kiss. When they kissed, I was kind of like, you just met, he's in a different world. And it just felt like the only reason that they were together was because they felt like they could talk to each other, and it felt like they both just needed to talk about their feelings, and they had been holding them in so long that whenever they let them go and the other person actually listened, they were like, we are so good at talking. But it's really just because both of them needed to vent. But this had a really good found family. I was a big fan of the friend group, and if you have read this, Brent and Trent are the best, and I love them. So this got a 3.5, and I would recommend it, but the only reason I have this is because it was in a blind book, like a blind book with a date. Blind date with a book. So that's the only reason I read it, was because it was gifted to me and I didn't know I was getting it. So, yeah. It does have very good lines in it, like she's talking about loss, and she says that grieving is like running a race with a pebble in your shoe, and that you can get used to it, but it always hurts. So I thought that was a really good line. And it goes on the shelf right there. Next I read Love and Gelato, which actually has a bookmark in it because I gave it to my mom to read. And she hasn't finished it, so I stole it from her to make this video. Love and Gelato got a 4.7. I rate everything out of 5. I don't know if I mentioned that. But this is about a girl who goes to Italy to visit her father after her mom died. And it's a father that she's never known and wasn't around when she was younger. And she starts finding things out about her past, and she meets a cute boy, and she finds a really good, again, found family in a group of teenagers that live around where she lives in Tuscany. And I actually got this before we went to Italy, and then I didn't read it, and now I want to go back to Italy and go to all of the places that she went. But I also didn't get to see some places while we were still there. So I need to make a plan and a trip to Italy so that I can go to all of these places, plus the Bone Church, because I really wanted to go to the Bone Church and I couldn't. So I gave this a 4.7 because it was really good and it almost checked all of my boxes, but it was also kind of slow, and it took me like some perseverance to get through. Because, I don't know, how I read is very much like you can lose me in describing places, and since it's Italy, she described it a lot. And so I almost was like, okay, everything's gonna be beautiful. But I think also she did a good job of countering that and being like, okay, I can't say that everything is beautiful. So no matter how much she feels like something's pretty, I can't describe it. It needs to be written off as it's pretty. But also how the plot went. I wasn't a big fan of where the plot was taken during the third act conflict almost. And it has a miscommunication trope, which I also was not a fan of, but then the book that I'm writing right now is low-key a miscommunication trope. But also, there's this thing in books sometimes, and even TV shows, where something happens to a girl unconsensually, and the guy that thought that they were together gets upset with her because he just saw something happen and he doesn't know it's non-consensual, and then he gets upset with her. That happens in this book, and I don't even feel like that's a spoiler. I feel like you need a trigger warning that there's a non-consensual kiss that somebody else sees and spins it into a consensual kiss, and then the love interest gets upset with her because someone took advantage of her. And we don't like that in the BC household. So I think that's also why I got points off. So I got points off for that. I got points off for me not liking the plot and how that went. I mean, I didn't even feel needed. It just was awful. It just ended up bad. Bad things transpired because of it. And I know it adds drama, but it almost felt like we had enough drama that it didn't even need to be added. Like, her life was literally ruined. Love and Gelato. It It was so good though, and I think doesn't she have another one that's Love and Luck? And I feel like that person's probably, yeah, so Love and Luck, she goes to Ireland, or another person goes to Ireland, and then Love and Olives is Greek. So I feel like that's so much fun. Like, what the heck? Anyway. And then lastly, we have Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. I don't even need to look at my chart because this got a 5 stars. This got a 5 stars. I have my own part of my bookshelf dedicated to Sarah Adams. I have When in Rome, Practice Makes Perfect, and Beg, Borrow, Steal. And even though I didn't like Beg, Borrow, Steal because of the smut, oh my gosh. This is about Annie Walker, who is the youngest Walker sibling. And basically she has social anxiety. She's really bad at going on dates. She finds the whole thing awkward, and then she goes on a date in the beginning of the book and it just turns out bad. He calls her bullying. And she's also like printed as Angel Annie. Like, she can do no wrong. She's just perfect by her entire family, by everyone in the town of Rome. And so, Rome, Kentucky. And so people just assume that she is a good girl and can do no wrong until the bad boy, Will, who is Amelia from the When in Rome book, his bodyguard, and he basically is set up as her coach, so her dating coach, to teach her, like, go on practice dates, teach her how to flirt. And I originally did not buy this book because I looked it up after I read When in Rome, because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with When in Rome. Beg, Borrow, Steal was a hit-off for me. I didn't really like that one. It was like a mistype. And then I read the synopsis of this, and I was like, I don't like that trope. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of fake dating, no matter how much the book community loves fake dating. I always just can't get over the fact that everything was tainted by we are characters right now. Like, we are both playing characters, we are both not ourselves because we're fake dating. If you're in a fake dating situation, like situationship or a situation, then you are automatically not yourself because you are dating somebody, and you're always working under the assumption that everything you're doing is fake. I have a fake dating book on my shelf by what's the name? Anne Lee, and it's literally called This Time It's Real, because it's a fake dating, and at the end when they start dating, they're like, okay, this time it's real. And I haven't read it yet because that's awful. I would not want to start a relationship built on lies and built on the assumption that we're both doing stuff just for the attention of somebody else. Our relationship was not started because we like each other. Our relationship was not started because we care about each other and wanted the intimacy of having a relationship, even if it's like closed door, like nothing bad is happening. We still did not go into this because we love each other. We went into this for the benefit of somebody outside of the two people in the relationship. Either it's because of an ex, or because she needs advice on dating other people. And I just don't, I can't get behind that. I have written fake dating. I had an entire book that I was writing that was fake dating. And I abandoned it because I did not like the assumption that they were just doing it because somebody else was watching. And then at the end, what was real? What was fake? So with this, they have this term where they go time in and time out. So they time in whenever something is fake, and then they time out whenever something's not fake. And they kiss, and it's just because they're teaching her how to kiss. They're not kissing because it's anything special. It's not anything that's like important. It's just because they're kissing. And no matter what, you cannot convince me that kissing is not something special that should only be shared between two people when you really feel like it. Like, I do not think anyone should go around just kissing somebody. I think kissing in itself is a form of, like, entering into a covenant, entering into, like, something made only for you two. And so, them kissing and being like, oh, it's just to teach you how to kiss, felt icky. But it got 5 stars because I really like Sarah Adams and I really like the characters, and maybe it could have gotten a 4.9, but then again, that just seems silly because I don't even know. Maybe I should change it to a 4.9 because I'm sitting here talking about this like that really bothered me. Where's my phone? Live action. I'm changing it. It is no longer 5 stars. I'm going to change it to a 4.8 because the longer I'm thinking about this, the longer it's kind of like really bothering me. Okay, it's a 4.8 now. 4.8. Practice Makes Perfect. I also only read it because I was just absolutely gobsmacked by When in Rome. And because In Your Dreams is coming out January 2026. And I was like, I need to read that one because I'm so excited for Maddie and James. So I'm going to have to read this one. And now I really want to reread Beg, Borrow, Steal and go to the part where these characters show up in that one because I'm so obsessed with these characters. But also at the end, they were kind of like, oh, yeah, obviously it was all like real, like we liked each other the whole time. But it didn't, I don't even remember if they said that. Like, did they even address the fact that they actually liked each other the whole time? No one knows. No one knows. No one knows. Anyway. So yeah. Those were they're like all over the place now. Those were the 4 books that I read this month. And if I had to recommend any to you, I would say Love and Gelato and You and Me at the End of the World. I would say Practice Makes Perfect. Read this if you have read When in Rome and Beg, Borrow, Steal. Like, read this as part of a series. Do not just read this. That's my thoughts. So, I can't put this on the shelf because it's way up there. So, those were my April reads. I'm going to actually try to make a cohesive schedule of posting from here on out. But we'll see how that goes because I'm not a consistent person. But also school is ending in 2 weeks. So maybe I'll be cohesive. I don't know. Also, make sure to check out my new YouTube shorts. I feel like a lot of people are actually checking those out and they're not checking out my YouTube videos. So get on that, guys. Like, start watching my YouTube videos. I know long form media stinks. We would rather just swipe and watch 6 seconds and be done. But I actually think you should watch my other videos because they're good. So yeah, make sure to watch my shorts and watch another one of my videos and like and subscribe and comment if you like. I love reading comments. That's like my favorite thing because I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody cares. And I know my dad's gonna comment on this. So hi, Dad. But yeah. Bye.